What's up, guys? It's another episode of Recovery Talk. I'm gonna wait a second before I get started. Hope you guys having a good Saturday. Now, yesterday I created a post, and I also posted it to my story, asking you guys to ask me questions in regards to addiction and recovery. So I'm on today to answer all these questions. There was actually a bunch of questions. There was a lot of them, and what I did was some of the questions were basically the same, but they were just worded differently. So I'm not going to answer all of those. I'm going to answer them all in one. I have everything written down here to read to you guys. Hey, Blair. Oh, yes, I know. I got to dress up today. I don't have a guest, so I got to look more appealing, I guess. But I am your host and I am your guest today. This is the first time I'm going live by myself. I created a post today that I'm moving all of my live shows from my personal Instagram to the Pro Recovery Power page. From now on, I'm going to do it that way. But I'm going to wait a little while longer before I get started. I'm not sure if this is going to take up a whole hour or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But I said yesterday I will answer every single question that I got. Also, if you're on here and you have questions, you can ask me as well. If you want to join me and answer these questions as well, then please let me know too. But here we go. Let's see. I am also going to post this as well. So here's the first question, if you guys are ready. Okay, the first question is, how do you have fun sober? That was actually something I wasn't sure of when I got sober. And I got sober through a 12-step program, so any kind of events they would put on, I was in. We're going camping, we're going bowling, we're doing a fundraiser, whatever it is, whatever it was. I needed to learn how to have fun sober. See, I couldn't really have fun high on cocaine. That wasn't fun. See, I could have fun drinking alcohol though. I was more sociable. With using drugs, I was very quiet. I cannot talk. I very much would just isolate myself and be by myself. But when I'm drinking alcohol and I'm only on alcohol, for whatever reason, I don't have the dope yet or whatever, because I always had both of them. Then, it was a lot more fun. But I had to learn how to have fun sober. And honestly, in my opinion today, it's a lot more fun than when I was loaded or when I was drunk, because I still got all my money in my bank. I can remember everything I did. I don't got to worry about hurting somebody physically, emotionally, mentally, stealing from somebody and blacking out and not remembering what I did and embarrassing myself and things like that. But it is possible. It is very possible, and it's a lot more fun. Honestly, doing things sober and having fun. It's great with other people, specifically who are sober as well. I've tried to hang out with people that were drinking, like some family and real close friends. And today I can do that. I can be around them, and I'm okay. I'm totally fine. I don't struggle with drugs and alcohol anymore. So hope that answers that question. The next question is, okay, is your wife sober? The short answer is no, she's not sober. But she doesn't really drink anyway, her and her family, they'll drink socially. I remember when we first got together and we'd be at these family gatherings or we'd go out dancing and things like that. I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I used to drink more than everybody combined. It's like 10 of us. And I mean, and that was no problem. Like I could drink so much. My tolerance was so high, but my wife, she's not sober, but she's also not an alcoholic. And she's never struggled with drugs and alcohol in her life. But I think being around me, it helped her, she has told me, it has helped her because she was trying to cut back on her drinking before she met me. And that I'm not taking credit for that at all. That's all God's doing. I think being an example for somebody else to follow is the most effective way to do it, in my opinion. So let's see, the third question. is how did you find your purpose? Okay, when I got sober, my mind was able to be clear for a few months, and I started building my relationship with God. So in order for me, I'm going live on my iPhone now. In order for me to find out the purpose of an iPhone, I need to reach out to the manufacturer or the creator, or look at the manual to tell me what the purpose of it is. See, if I don't know what the purpose is of a thing, I will abuse it. I will abnormally use it. Now, like, okay, I want to get married. What's the purpose of marriage? I want to have a wife. What's the purpose of a wife? I want to do this. Well, what I want to have money. What's the purpose of money? So if I don't know what the purpose is, first of all, then I will abuse it. Like, okay, I hurt myself at work. I'm on these pain pills now. Well, what's the purpose of the pain pills? You see, like, I need to go to my creator to find out what my purpose was. See, God allowed me to go through all these hardships, all these things I did active in addiction. And in turn, what that did was really help me grow, help me develop thick skin, help my mental muscle get built and built stronger. Because what happened through all of that, what was meant for my harm, God took it, He turned it all into good. And it birthed a purpose in me. Today, I mean, I'm an advocate for recovery. Everybody who knows me knows that about me. It's just my whole life. Like, I cannot keep my mouth shut about what God has done for me. And I have a high fervor for helping other people struggling with addiction. My whole life is about recovery and spreading the message that it is possible. So the short answer, how did I find my purpose? My purpose was found only in God. That's it. The next question. So it says, I know you did a lot of drugs. Do you have any regrets? That's a good question. That's kind of like a loaded question at the same time, because the answer to that is no, I don't have any regrets. And yes, I do have regrets, but like, I really don't, in a way, because if I regretted all the things I'd done, it never would have brought me to the place where I am at today. I wouldn't have a purpose. I would just be kind of just coasting through life, not on fire for anything, no enthusiasm, no happiness, no joy, no peace, no nothing like that. So ultimately, I do not have any regrets. The fifth question is, okay, I see you started a clothing line called Pro Recovery Power. What gave you the idea? So what gave me the idea to start a clothing line, a recovery clothing line, was, when the pandemic happened, I created this page, Pro Recovery Power, to reach more people struggling with addiction, because with everything closed, like the closure of so many things, like in the beginning, in the middle of the pandemic, with everything closing, one thing I always say will never close is social media. And with the social media, people who struggle with drugs and alcohol, I mean, this is worldwide. They could be scrolling one day and they can find some hope and gain the courage to seek out help. That was the whole purpose behind me starting Pro Recovery Power on Instagram. And then I had the idea of, okay, my arm can stretch further if I start a recovery clothing line. And Pro Recovery Power was actually the first idea that popped into my head when I was trying to figure out what I'm going to call it. Because for me, I'm less anti-addiction and I am more pro-recovery. Being anti-addiction, I'm problem focused, but I'm more solution oriented and solution focused today. And so that's how I came up with the name Pro Recovery Power, because I'm pro recovery, and in that there's a lot of power. So that's why I named it that. So again, my reach can be further along with the clothing, because when people wear it, other people can ask, what is that? What's that about? And typically, people who are in recovery, people who are sober, or people who are supporting others that are sober will be wearing these kind of things. Full-on drug addict, I mean, I doubt you'll see them wearing it. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's not limited to people only in recovery. I mean, I make this for anybody who wants to help me get the message out. So the next question is, how many treatment centers have you been through before you got sober? Okay, that's a good question. Nobody really asked me that before. And the answer is 0. I haven't been to any treatment centers. I tried to get into them when I first got sober. I didn't have insurance. So in the process of doing that, I try to get into like Gibson House. I try to get into Cedar House. I tried to get in like anything that I could. And I couldn't get a bed. They were all booked up. I had to call every day. So it just didn't work out to where I needed, where I wasn't able to go into treatment. So I found a sober living. And I moved into a sober living about less than a month into being sober. And I never went through treatment because as a counselor, like for me, cocaine and vodka, or cocaine and alcohol, really, that was my drugs of choice. And a full-blown alcoholic, they need a detox. See, I drank a whole lot, and I do identify as an alcoholic, but cocaine was really, I really, really loved that. Now, what I found out is that cocaine is more psychological. It's not physical, like heroin and alcohol. You literally can die if you do not detox properly. So I went into the sober living, and I got into a 12-step program, and then the rest is history. So let's see. Next question is, okay, it says, I'm not sober, but thinking about it, what advice can you give me? I'm not a big fan of giving advice. I rather, give a suggestion. Even as a counselor, we are taught not to give advice, So I like that. I like that because, in a way, like with me being a sponsor, I always tell my guys, people who always, come to me and ask me to sponsor them, I always make it clear from the very, very start that, I'm not a mentor, I'm not your coach, I'm not your boss, I'm not your dad. I am literally a guide in the literal sense, because coaches, bosses, parents, fathers, they literally will tell you what to do. See, nobody made me drink and use, and nobody made me recover. I became willing to do both. So there's so much power in that, and it's so effective. And that's why that is exactly how my sponsor sponsored me, and that is exactly how I do it with the guys that I sponsor. I'm not trying to take away their free will. See, I always tell them, look, if you relapse, it's not going to be because of me. If you recover, it's not going to be because of me either. It's literally, life is choice driven. That's why I'm not here to try to take people's choice away from them. No, not at all. If they want to drink and use, bro, that is all good. That's their life, not mine. So there's nothing I can do about that except be an example for them to follow. That's it. Okay, number 8. Okay, this is an interesting one. There's probably somebody who's not sober, but it says, why did you get sober? Because why I got sober was I was just absolutely destroying my life. I thought drugs and alcohol was my problem. I learned that, that wasn't the problem. I was the problem. So even separated from drugs and alcohol, my thinking is still the problem. Wherever I go, there I am. I cannot escape myself. So I got sober because, my life I was destroying my life. I was so unhappy. My mind was so broken. I had so much relationships that I destroyed. My physical body was just terrible. My mental health was just down the toilet. And my spiritual health, I was spiritually sick. I felt like I was spiritually dead. And I was walking around the earth just existing, no purpose. The only purpose I had was to get high and to drink alcohol, and that was it. And I didn't want that life anymore. Okay, the next question is, how do you balance sobriety, family, and work? So how I do it, honestly, is managing my time well. That's something that I learned even active in my addiction when in my past career. That's something that I learned, was how to manage my time. I'm a huge stickler. See, I'm never on time for anything. I'm always early. Doctor's appointments, meetings, restaurants, movie theater, whatever it is. I'm never on time. I'm always early. Because I was taught, if you're on time, you're late. So I always manage my time well, and I keep my priorities in order. That one is actually probably more important than managing my time. Because I notice when my priorities is out of order, something starts happening with my attitude. I started getting short with my wife. I getting irritated all the time. So what I mean by that here, my priorities is like this. It's God, it's family, it's business or career. And everything falls under that category. See, if it's wife first, or if it's career first, anything that I place above God Nothing ever works out for me at all. I'm always unbalanced. I'm always a full on, and this is a good thing too. Look, I can be 100% in my recovery, sponsoring my guys, being involved in meetings, being involved in outreach programs. However, that's not bad, you see, but I'm still placing something above God. Whenever I have done that, it has never, ever, ever worked out for me. Okay. Okay, what exactly, this is the next question. It says, hey guys, sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to what's coming in. Hey Alex. Let's see. The next question is, what exactly has changed for you since you've been sober? This is kind of a long answer, but what exactly has changed? Oh, okay. What exactly has changed for me is my mind. That is exactly what has changed for me. Because this disease of addiction had infiltrated my mind. So everything in my life, it just oozed over it. Addiction oozed over every single aspect of my life. Now, when I got into the room, I heard people say stuff like, you just got to change one thing and that's everything. So what I decided to do was change my mind in the literal sense, meaning I started to fill my mind up with different information, with different types of music, with different kind of movies or things that my eyes would see, because all of that would start to create different thought patterns, my cognition started to change. Until somebody can have a total psychic change, there's very little hope of that person's recovery. So that's what I did, changed my mind, and literally everything else changed. The next question is, okay, this is an interesting one. It says, this person says, I don't believe in God. Can I still get sober? The answer to that question is yes, I believe you can. This is what I'll say about that. According to your faith, let it be done to you. According to your faith, let it be done to you. That has nothing to do with God. I'm specifically talking about faith because everybody has faith. I mean, everybody does. Whether we know it or not, everybody got it. It's built into us. Now, do all of us tap into it? No, we don't. But that's the answer. That's the short answer, and that's the answer that I'll give. According to your faith, let it be done to you. Number 12. Who's the most important person? Okay, I remember who wrote this. Okay, who's the most important person at any 12-state meeting? Oh, that's an easy question. I am. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Okay, the most important person at any 12-step meeting is the newcomer, is the brand new person in the room. That is the most important person. Next question says, what is the most... Okay, let's see. This is kind of a tricky one. What is the most anchored line to describe your view of life? Or in parentheses, it says, most important sentence. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I never rehearsed any of these. I just wrote them down and I wanted to just go live and start answering them. So let me read that one more time. What is the most anchored line to describe your view of life? Okay, let me think. Okay, so I was about, I would say 16 years old. I remember my dad gave me this book to read, and I wasn't into reading books, at all. I mean, that didn't interest me whatsoever. So the name of this book, it was called, I believe it was called Goals, Plans, and Dreams. It was written by a guy named Ken Gobb, I believe. And it's an old book. And in that book, I will never forget this one-liner. He says, if you continue to think like the way you've thought, you'll always get what you've always got. See, I am huge. I just spoke about this, changing your mind. I am huge on renewing my mind. Wherever my body goes, wherever my mind goes, my body's going to follow. I'm huge on that. So if you continue to think like the way you've thought, you'll always get what you've always got. I kept doing the same thing and I kept getting the same thing. It wasn't until I started feeding my mind something different to where I would get different reactions. I would get different outcomes. I would get different results in my life. So let's see. The next one says, how do you deal with the hard things in life sober? Oh, to be honest, today, dealing with the hard things in life is easier now that I'm sober than versus active in my addiction. So I'll explain what I mean. When I got sober and in the process of being in recovery, what happened to me is I started to learn and I started to gain different tools. Now, whether I use those tools will be up to me. Now, see, I didn't have these tools active in my addiction. That's why I say that it's easier for me today to deal with certain adversities. Like I didn't know how to be patient. I didn't know how to be kind because I was always thinking about myself. I didn't know how to do all these different things. So because I have these tools today and I choose to use them. Now, let me be clear. I do not use it every single time. I would like to think I do, but I know for sure I do not. But it's not like what it used to be where I never had them and it was just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. Okay, the next question is, what's it like being a sober father? Oh, okay, I like that question. So what it's like being a sober father is great. What's up, Johnny Gio? It's great to be a sober dad, because active in my addiction, my presence never made me present. Just because I'm physically there doesn't mean like I'm physically there or I'm mentally there. I could have been physically there, but I wasn't mentally there. And today that's something I get to be. I get to be a sober father. I mean, it's wonderful. I can be there for my son. I mean, he's a baby right now, but as he gets older, I can be there at all his ball games, all his parent-teacher conferences, every activity he got, every single thing. I can be there for him. And it's wonderful. I'm not thinking of okay, I gotta hurry up and put him to sleep so I can go get my dope and hopefully he don't wake up when I'm gone and I gotta come back and all these things. But it is absolutely wonderful, and it is an absolute privilege to be a father. Okay, the next question is, okay, when is your sobriety birthday? Okay, that's a good one. It's actually coming up. My sobriety birthday is next week, Wednesday. February 17th of 2017 was the last day I drank and used, and I'm keeping it. This next question was probably somebody in the 12-step program. The next question is, do you still carry resentments? That's something like actively drinking and using, like when you're at the bar or something, like I knew the people that was using. Like now that I'm in recovery, I can identify these people as well. Like I had Amy Dresner on the other week, and she said, you can spot these people when they're talking about like resentments. Like, are you sober? You're sober, aren't you? It's so funny. But anyways, so do you still carry resentments? The answer to that question is absolutely not. I do not. Because I learned something about that. I learned something. I like going through the process of recovery and doing the work. I found something out about me, and that was, man, I wasn't the nice guy that I thought I was. I wasn't. So, carrying resentments, it's like carrying around this big load on your back that you don't have to carry. It's the book I went through, it describes it as, it says, it's a dubious luxury for normal men, but for somebody like me, it is poison. A resentment is fatal to somebody like me. It can literally kill me. You separate me from drugs and alcohol, and I got a fierce resentment. I give you an example. So let's say I have a fierce resentment to somebody, and I'm physically with them, and I get into an argument, I'm flipping things, and we're fighting, and I end up leaving. I'm mad. I jump in my car. I'm zooming down the freeway. I lose control of my car. I hit a mom and her kid. I kill them. I mean, drugs and alcohol not even involved, and I can totally destroy my life off of a resentment. So because I learned that about myself, like once I completed that specific part of my program, I stopped cutting myself and blaming the knife already. I was able to take responsibility for my actions and my part in things that went wrong in my life, quote unquote. So, and that was I completed that part of my program about 2 years ago. And 100% honesty, since that day, I have never, ever copped a resentment toward anybody. Because I want to be free and I want to stay free. That's why. Now, will I ever catch a resentment in the future? It is possible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not exempt from it. I just know the importance of it today, why I should not be carrying around resentments. Next question is, have you ever thought about, or have you cheated on your wife? Okay, absolutely not. That thought has never entered my mind. And I have never thought about it. I have never acted on it. See, I love my wife. This is how I'll sum it up. I love my wife, and I show her that I do. And I love her more than any man has loved any other woman since the beginning of time and ever. No man will ever love another woman the way I love my wife. And I treat her accordingly. And if you don't believe me, please ask her. Go talk to her. That's something that does not cross my mind at all. I am 100% committed to her. I literally only have eyes for her. Now, have I been physically attracted to other women? Yes, but I stop it right there because I'm a human being. I'm a male. My wife knows these things about me, but she also knows how much I love her and how much I am committed to her and her alone. Let's see. Next question is, what has been a life-changing moment for you? What's been a life change? There's a bunch of them. Okay, one comes to mind. So when I first got sober, I was living with my sister, and I basically got caught because I kept this a secret. She didn't know I was using drugs. My mom didn't know. My dad, my family, my immediate family, they didn't know. They didn't know. So I got caught. A turning point for me, or a life-changing moment, was when I got caught by my sister. Just lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. That's when everything changed for me, because I kept my deep dark secret over here, away from the light. Now it got exposed. It got exposed from the dark to the light. And I always say this. It's like, you guys ever walk into a dark room and you turn the light on? You guys ever notice how the darkness never fights with the light to stay dark? It is immediately gone. And I felt this relief, this ease and comfort, the same exact ease and comfort I would feel from drugs and alcohol, I felt when my secret came from the dark into the light. Okay, there's only a few more questions. What is this? The 20th question now? Okay, it says, how do you separate yourself from people that still drink and use? Okay, now, I got sober in California. This is where I live in California. I'm originally from Hawaii. Now, if I got sober in Hawaii, honestly, it would have been a lot more difficult because I'm on an island. I know everybody. Everybody knows me. They know where I live. They can stop by anytime. Even if I try to isolate myself in my house, they can still come over. They can just drop by anytime. But I still know people here in California that are not sober. And separating, I believe that's very important. Number one, it is important for me to change my environment and my associations. And this is not what I would do. I wouldn't go back to all my friends, be like, hey, I'm getting sober, you guys. I cannot be a friend anymore. See you guys later. No, I can't. No. This is what I would have done if I was still living in Hawaii and I was trying to get sober. Is I wouldn't call and text my friends like how I used to. It was like everyday thing. What you guys doing? What you guys doing? We're planning something for the weekend. I wouldn't do that. When they call me, I wouldn't answer the phone. I just wouldn't. I would not. And I would immerse myself in meetings around other people that are sober, because that's what I did here in California. The next question is, what have you discovered about yourself since you've been sober? There's tons of things. I'll give you one negative one and one positive one. The negative thing that I discovered about myself was that I was absolutely positively selfish and self-centered to the max. And honestly, that was something I was unaware of about myself. It's amazing though how was unaware of that about myself. And a positive is I'm no longer like that today. Now, do these things pop up once in a while? Absolutely, yes. But what I'm saying is, it is no longer a way of life for me anymore. Okay, got a couple more questions, and then that's pretty much it, guys. So the next one is, okay, can you explain what the Pro Recovery Power logo means? Now, if you guys see it, the logo, there is an island in the first P. That is the big island of Hawaii. That is where I'm from, in the first P. The R, there's nothing in the R. And in the other P, it's a fist in the air, which symbolizes power. So the Pro Recovery Power logo, to sum it up, it symbolizes where I'm from and what I stand for. Because I was told, look, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So this is the last question, guys. And thank you guys so much for asking them. This has been great. This actually helps me to continue to be honest. The last question is, okay, do you consider yourself recovered or recovering? Okay, 100%. I absolutely consider myself recovered. I have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. I no longer struggle with drugs and alcohol anymore. I used to be obsessed with it. Once God lifted the obsession, from that day forward, I never struggled with it. And honestly, it was early on. I probably had less than 6 months when that happened to me. And I've never struggled with it anymore. Now, what I do struggle with is myself. I am the real problem. That's why the drugs and alcohol wasn't. So at times, I still do struggle with myself. And specifically like my character defects I'm talking about. Like maybe always wanted to be in control, always wanted to be right, being impatient, again, selfish, wanting my way. And it could be something small. It could be something like, okay, my wife wants to eat at this restaurant, but no, I want to eat here. Something little like that, you know. All the, like, being selfish, self-centered is never, ever, ever a good thing in my experience. It has never brought me happiness. It has never brought me joy. It has never helped me in any way. It has always worked against me, you know. So that's the last question, guys. That wraps it up. I will post this, and I just thank you guys, you know, so much for watching and for all you guys love and support. You know, I got you know, the regulars that support me, you know, and it's awesome, man. You know, I'm just really trying to expand my reach, you know, especially on social media, because with your help, I can reach even further. You know, me by myself, I can only reach so far, but you know, I have a purpose to fulfill, a destiny to complete, and a call that I had answered. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next week. Thank you.